So let's begin by crafting and developing these questions, breaking them up one item at a time. So there's three components to a great question or collaborative question: topic, perspective, and a question. We've already talked about topics, and we've identified a bunch of them. We talked about how to uncover them. We're now going to get into the perspective. So topics have been covered. We're going to discuss perspectives, and then we're going to get into the questions. So what is it about perspectives? From a perspective, perspectives give you insight into what's going on in a way that straightforward questions never can. Because what it does is it starts shifting the view of the topics in all kinds of directions until you understand the real insight, the real impact it's having on the organization. Did any of you see that movie, what was it called, with Kevin Costner, about the shooting the president, and they show it from like 6 different perspectives? Vantage Point. It's called Vantage Point. If you guys haven't seen that, I would recommend you go see that film. It's really, it sees the same situation from about 4 or 5 different vantage points, and until you see the connection from all the vantage points, you don't really know what's going on. So everybody's vantage point gives them one perspective on what's going on, which is incorrect. Which is the way we develop our relationships with customers. Is we ask a straightforward question, we get an answer, and all we have is one perspective from one person, and we don't really have insight into what's really going on. So what we're going to talk about is how to ask perspective questions of different people, so you get a clear view of everything that's going on, so you can then better position solutions and create an environment for negotiating that gives you a much better advantage than when you have just one perspective. So let's talk about this idea we call Stafit. It's a way to describe perspectives. The idea is that different people in different positions with different levels of experience have a different view of the same situation and the same topic. An executive has a different perspective than someone in operations. A new person who's only been doing something for a few months has a very different perspective on a topic than someone who's seen it for 10 years. And so this premise, you got to say, okay, so whatever I'm getting is only part of the truth. I want the whole truth. The more you can examine topics from different perspectives, the better you can understand what's going on, and the easier it is for you to impact the decisions. And then finally, the deeper insight leads to higher levels of trust. Put yourself in a position of a buyer. If you know that I know what you know, and you need to make a decision, versus another salesperson talking to you, and you know that they don't know what you know. And there's 2 of us, and we're both selling you roughly the same thing. Who are you going to go with? The person who more clearly demonstrates that they know what you know. That's why the perspective questions, that's why good questions, because it just differentiates you from every other salesperson. It puts you in a position where the person, remember the triangle, their perception of you? It connects that perception of you to, hey, this is a trusted advisor. They truly understand what I need and want, and I'm, all other things being fairly equal, I'm going with the person I trust. And most of the time, isn't that all we want? Isn't all we really want is to, all other things being fairly equal, we want to get the nod? Price, delivery, service, all the things being roughly competitive, all we want is the differentiation. Differentiation comes from this perspective of, I trust you because you know what I need. You have deeper insight into my business. And so we can't underestimate the value of good questioning and good listening and taking our time to get deep enough insight to the point where the customer says, you know, all right, you got it. You got what I need. I'm going with you. And by the way, I'm always going with you because I can't take a risk on the other person who doesn't get what I need. So that's the whole substance of this thing is the deeper you understand what's important, the more people are going to trust you, the more when it becomes, you could go either way, the more they choose you. So Tanya, for every 10 transactions, how many of those 10 transactions when all things are being equal, how many more do we need to where the customer says, you know, all things being equal, I'm going with you because I trust you? How many more out of 10 do we need to make a huge impact to the company or to you personally?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the question.
10 transactions, all things being equal, right? How many more out of 10 do we want them to say, all things being equal, I trust you more?
I want all of it.
Well, how about just one? One more. What impact would one more have on your ability to produce at a higher level? It's not.
It's a stepping stone for the success for the organization.
Yep. This is not about major, major changes. This is about building just enough trust to win one more deal out of 10. It's just enough to make enough of a difference on one more out of 10. And then maybe 2 out of 10. You know, the 2 out of 10 that could go either way? I just want more of those to go my way. And that's all we're after here. So, perspective means if, you know, think of a viewpoint or a topic. An IT director who's a worker in the IT department has one view or one perspective on how things work. A operations manager has a whole different perspective on it because of the way that impacts their department and their operations, where a marketing executive might have a completely different view on that same topic.